And we are continuing our series today on removing price tags from comic books in the safest way possible. So I found a book in the dollar bin, never heard of it, never heard of these authors. It looked interesting. Of course, it's got a price tag directly on the back of the book. It is better than the cover, but it's still not something we want in our collection. We want to take it off at all possible. I read through this book. I was actually very, very interested. I thought this was a really interesting story. I thought there was a lot going on, and I really want to pick up the second issue. Again, this one's pretty beat up. It's bent. It's got a number of spine ticks. Again, not something I'm too worried about. I picked this up in the dollar bin really just as a test case. Not just if I like the book or not, but for this video. But let's see if we can remove the sticker. So today, in our first video, we used Goo Gone. It's a normal household products you can buy at Walmart or Target, really anywhere, and it basically ruined the book. We can watch that video up here, but we're trying something a little bit different today. So I've picked up some Bestine. This is a cement remover, an adhesive remover. This is pretty serious stuff. It is intended for, they use it in some hobbyists. I know chemists use it when they're removing stickers and rubber cement. So we're going to be, again, very conservative with this. I have a little bit in the jar. I'm going to use a Q-tip. This is a big-time skin irritant. The number one warning with this is don't get it on your skin, don't get it on your skin, and then don't get it on your skin. So we're wearing gloves. We're going to be very careful with it and be very conservative with applying this to the sticker. Just keeping it on the sticker. Oh, and lesson we learned from last time. Let's get our backer board in there. So it doesn't look like I've done any damage yet, but that's a mistake. We started without it. And make sure that's rectified right now. So putting no pressure at all on the book. I'm just working inside the sticker, making sure not even to get anywhere on the red back cover. So one thing I've noticed very quickly, this product seems to evaporate within seconds, really, of, being on the page. So we've been very careful. If you look closely, you can see there's still some unaffected, they look dry areas of the sticker. That's really just because I was so afraid of getting this on the comic book. The Goo Gone experience was pretty bad, and it might have scarred me a little bit. So we're going to give that a couple of minutes, seep in, kind of let it do its magic.
A few moments later.
So it's been a couple of minutes. We've let the Bestine seep in, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit as we work on the sticker. Try to center this for you guys. Again, I'm just using this as a Starbucks drink stopper. It's rounded edge, it's fairly thin, but it's flat as well. Starbucks drink stopper. Putting gentle pressure with my hand to hold the cover down, and I'm going to be pushing away from the spine of the book. And immediately, again, I'm putting minimal pressure on it. Sticker is just coming up very easily. That was incredibly easy. I am actually very, very surprised at how smooth that was. And it's hard to tell from the camera, but there is just a little bit of residue left. I've got a makeup pad. I'm going to use the soft side first and just kind of gently circular rub this. So that is some, you know, it's picking up some of the fibers, so we know that's an adhesive residue. Putting just a little bit more pressure with the pad. And it's coming up. There's maybe a little bit of ink transfer, but nothing really at all. Again, I've got pressure with my left hand just to hold the cover down. I'm moving my pressure with the pad away from the spine because I don't want to push or do anything that would cause that spine to wrinkle. It's gone. That whole sticky area is gone. I am very, very, very impressed. So if you look at it at an angle, you can see just the briefest silhouette of where that sticker was. There's a little rectangle. I think if we pressed this book, it would come right out. And that might be something I set up for you guys. Let's just see how that looks like. There's a couple of other issues with this book. There's some finger bends and some spine ticks. We'll see kind of what that looks like overall with the book. So we'll give you just the overall picture. Here's our book now. And let's press it. See how it turns out. So as we go to press this Weatherman #1, I thought it would be interesting to talk about the stack that I use. So I've got a steel plate. I'm going to use a magazine backer board, glossy side towards the book. So this is the back of our stack. Then I've got a piece of silicone paper. So I use a little bit fancier than parchment paper you get out of your kitchen. Somewhat similar stuff. So this is slightly fancier. So from the book, I'm going to put a piece of 20-pound paper in between the back cover and the page. And again, my goal is I want to make sure the spine is inside of that magazine backer board and inside the silicone release or the parchment paper. Everybody is lined up. I'm going to find the middle of the book with the staples. I'm going to make sure that it's snug against the staples, so there's no damage coming through there. I'm going to close up on it. Again, the purpose of all this is to keep the shape of the book. If this had a digital code, our stack would look a little bit different. This does not. You know, the new Marvel books, some of the DC books have these digital codes. This is another just 20-pound piece of paper. Inside the front cover, we get our parchment paper again. And then my magazine page. And then we sandwich it all flat. Another steel plate. This is going to go in at 150 degrees for 7 minutes. I'll leave it in the press for probably another 3 or 4 hours under cold pressure. If you have any questions about my stack, let me know. I'll put the diagram right here. Let's unpack our stack and see what we've got. So here's our Weatherman #1. There's a couple of color breaking spine ticks, but a lot of those initial spine ticks cleared up. Taking our filler stack out. That is a really sharp looking #1. As you can see, the original wave that we had over here is gone. Book lays flat. There's no spine roll. Again, we've got 2 color breaking spine ticks. Nothing we were going to be able to do about that, but otherwise this looks really sharp. And really what we were looking for, are we going to have that sticker on the back, that sticker shape. And it is almost 100% gone. Only when I look at the book at a very strange angle, under very direct light, you can see there's a little bit of lightening of the color. If this was a white cover, you'd probably see nothing at all, but there's just a very faint color loss. I think that really came just when we were rubbing the makeup pad. We lost just a little bit of color, pulling up the last of that adhesive. I am considerably happy with that. But altogether, if you just were looking at this book in your collection, you'd be pretty pleased with it. Yeah, so overall, looking back at this Bestine, if this is the product we're using to remove stickers or remove adhesive on books, I'd be pretty happy with that. It is not 100%. We've seen a little bit of color loss here. Before I gave it an absolute A+, I would want to experiment more and see if there's something we could do with that. Ultimately, though, I would give this an A-. This was fantastic. It was incredibly easy. It was fast. I cannot wait to do some more experimenting with this and see what other results we can get. But in terms of Weatherman #1, taking that price tag off the back, incredibly happy. This comes in at an A-.